morning, YouTube. So today what we're going to do for the baby dresser is we're going to start priming the shelves and the sides. So with that said, let's get to it. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just giving the side pieces a light touch up by hand setting it with 220, and I'm just cleaning up the front edges of the dresser. We get a nice clean coat over top. Now I'm going to have to get all the dust off of this too. So before I start painting, I am going to blow both these pieces completely clean. And another reason I'm not too worried is I am going to sand again after I prime. So if I notice any depressions or divots or notches, I'm going to go back, fill them, sand them until I get a nice clean shape. Now I'm going to put more of an emphasis on the side pieces because those are the ones that are the most visual. The shelves, not so much. The front edge is definitely going to be one that's going to get the most amount of care. But I'm not going to put too much emphasis on the shelf because, again, there are going to be drawers on it. What you see or what your customer sees is where you need to put the majority of your effort because, again, it needs to look nice. Now, I'm not saying that the shelves shouldn't get sanded or get the same treatment. It's just you shouldn't waste the time that you put on the things that are seen for the things that are unseen. So with that said, let's blow this off and get to the rest of the work. So when you're spray painting, you want to spray about 8 to 10 inches away from your workpiece. You want to start just before and stop just at the end of each pass. And just like painting on brush on finish, when you're spraying on finish, you want to overlap that previous pass as you're going down. Right? Another thing too is you want to try to keep a nice, consistent distance. You don't want to be going far, close, far. You want to go straight down, straight down. And that'll give you a more consistent finish. This is going to be even more important when I'm using the big, I'm going to use a paint sprayer to spray on the white. So I might try to find a better way to hold these straight up and down as I'm painting them down. But with that said, let's get to it. So something I forgot to mention is for safety precautions, I also am wearing a respirator and some safety glasses just in case if there's some spray back from the spray paint as the primer as I'm going across the project. The other thing I got to mention too is I want to make sure that I'm far enough away from any cars or houses or buildings, because again, even though spray paint, when I'm spraying, the particles are mostly hit what I'm spraying at, I don't want anything to land on something I care about like a car or a house. So I've distanced myself away from my house far enough where I have a clear spray booth like setting where I don't have to worry about where the paint's going. So that said, let's get some primer on this project. So these two pieces from where you're looking at look pretty good primed. But I'm going to zoom in on the one on the left. You can still see on the bottom part of the dresser some wood grain. So I'm going to have to go back and recoat both of them. The other thing, again, as I said before, we need to put the most amount of time on these two pieces, because again, any defects that are on these will be easily visible to anyone who's looking at the project. So we're going to spend the most amount of time on these. When it gets to the shelves, we're going to focus on the outside edge. So I'm going to prime all of the shelves just to hide any of the ink stains from the manufacturer mark and any other blemishes I can. But I'm putting the majority of my primer paint here. Because again, what I'm going to do after it's been primed, I'm just going to gently sand it with 320 grit just to clean it up, make it a nice smooth surface, and then the white paint that goes on top has less to fill as I'm coating it onto those two pieces. So with that said, let's paint the rest of the shelves. So that covers priming all of the parts for the dresser. I know I didn't do the web frame or the dividers on the drawers yet. I'm going to come back to them in another video, but I just wanted to get everything painted just to see how it goes, because again, we've been having such good weather. It's a perfect painting day for outside. So with that said, my goal is next video we're going to try to get actual white paint onto the actual project, or the next video I'd like to finish up priming on the bottom and start sanding the surfaces that are going to be seen, so we can remove all of either the dents, the nicks, or any depressions that might show up on the white paint. So again, we want a nice smooth finish. Once that's done and everything's been primed and prepped and everything looks great and includes the web frame, we're going to bust out the spray gun and start spraying all of these parts completely white. So with that said, I hope everyone's staying safe, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.